India Act. Introduction. The Government of India Act 1935 was the most comprehensive constitutional reform introduced by the British in India. It was a direct response to political instability, nationalist movements, and increasing demands for self-governance. While the Act introduced several reforms, it fell short of granting complete autonomy, making it a significant yet controversial step in India's constitutional history. This act later became the basis for the constitutions of both India and Pakistan. Background. Why was the act introduced? Failure of previous constitutional reforms. The Government of India Act 1919 introduced diarchy in provinces, but it proved ineffective due to British control over key areas. Indians demanded full autonomy, rendering the 1919 reforms obsolete. The failure of these reforms necessitated a more extensive constitutional revision. Simon commissioned 1927, a flawed attempt. Appointed by the British government to review the 1919 Act. No Indian representation in the commission sparked mass protests. The rejection of the Simon Commission report led the British to consider alternative reforms. Nehru Report 1928, demand for dominion status. Motilal Nehru's report called for self-governance within the British Empire. The British ignored this proposal, leading to increased frustration among Indian leaders. Jinnah's 14 Points 1929 countered the Nehru Report, emphasizing Muslim political rights. Round Table Conferences 1930–1932, an unsuccessful dialogue. 3 conferences were held to negotiate India's constitutional future. Congress boycotted the first Round Table Conference, limiting its effectiveness. The conferences failed to achieve consensus, but they influenced the provisions of the 1935 Act. Communal Award 1932, British policy of division. Introduced separate electorates for minorities, deepening communal divisions. Gandhi opposed this, while Muslim and lower caste leaders supported it. This move intensified communal politics, further complicating constitutional negotiations. The White Paper 1933, blueprint for the Act. The British published a white paper detailing proposed reforms. It laid the foundation for drafting the Government of India Act 1935. Economic and political pressures on Britain. The Great Depression 1929 weakened Britain's economy, reducing its ability to govern India. Rising political unrest made it necessary to grant limited autonomy to maintain order. Britain aimed to retain control while appeasing nationalist demands.